Hi, this is Yvonne, and I'm here with Dana Parrott. How you doing, Dana?
I'm good.
Merry Christmas.
You too. You too.
Well, so we're at the Nelson County Extension Office, and we're going to be making crock pot candy today.
That's right.
Okay, so you're ahead of me on this because I have no idea or never done this before, so you'll not only be teaching our viewers, you'll be teaching me too, okay?
There we go.
All right.
One more person I can add to my contacts.
All right.
It's really easy. The thing I like about it, you know, people like to make candy for
Yes.
Christmas, and it's a lot of steps to making candy. And so this kind of cuts it down. We're going to do two different ones. They're very, very simple, very quick, and almost no mess, which is my favorite kind of
Yes.
thing. So the first one is crock pot caramel, which a lot of people have heard of. Actually, about a month ago on social media, there was a post going around that you could stick sweetened condensed milk in a crock pot, submerge it in water for about 2 to 3 hours, and then it would make caramel.
I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that.
And everybody was sharing it and, you know, so excited about it. Well, it's not true.
You know,
So
I
if
didn't
you
think
saw
it was.
that, don't do it.
I didn't think it was. No.
No. Now, you can stick sweetened condensed milk in the crock pot submerged in water, but leave it overnight for about 8 to 10 hours, and it will make caramel.
Oh.
So the mess up there was they had on too short of a time.
Okay.
And so it is possible, but that's what we did. We just took it. You can do it two different ways. You can take the label off and just stick the entire can into your crock pot. Make sure that it's submerged in water. The top is covered with water. Stick it on low for 8 to 10 hours. Then you just open the can and you're good to go.
Okay, so what helps to turn it this golden
It just kind of
caramel color?
caramelizes.
It just caramelizes in the can, and you don't have to do anything
You don't have to do anything at all.
to it.
Nope.
Wow.
Now, if you're a visual person and you want to see the progress that you're making, you can take your sweetened condensed milk and you can pour it into a canning jar.
Okay.
And it will do the same thing. Because the canning jar, make sure it's a canning jar that will hold up in a crock pot. You know, don't get ones, right now there's a lot of canning jars that are just decorative.
Okay. And with the same
they
type
don't
of
work.
recipe, you leave it in for the same amount of
Yep.
hours.
You just stick it
overnight.
straight in like that. Make sure it's submerged in water. Put the top on and leave it overnight.
And it turns to caramel.
And it turns to caramel, just like magic.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
magic.
it is magic.
We'll have to try that back at the station, Gary.
There you go. But what we're going to do with our caramel is mini caramel apples. And so a lot of people really love caramel apples, but they're a big mess. And it's hard to eat a caramel apple.
Yeah, it is.
And so caramel apple slices were popular for a while, where people would slice their apple and dip them in caramel. That's an option. I'm gonna scoot that out of the way.
All right.
But a new thing that's going around, you can take a melon baller and you can just dig into your apple and you just make a little apple ball. And then you'll just take a toothpick, dip it. Our caramel has gotten a little harder since it's been sitting here, but you would just dip it into your caramel. I've got some crushed candy here that I can dip it in. Good to go. Set it on wax paper. That'll harden. People can pick them up. They're the perfect little party.
Let's give this the easy test, because this will determine not whether it's easy.
If you can
If
do it.
I can do it, you can do it.
There we go.
Okay.
You can do it, I promise. And then just go in a circle there.
Oh my.
See how easy that was?
It's passing the easy test.
It is. And the milk, you know, the creamier your caramel is, the better. If you keep it in the crock pot, I usually do it straight out of the crock pot and let it.
And then, but if you just like caramel, you can just sit there.
That's
and munch
exactly
on it,
right.
can't you?
That's exactly right. Now, if you just wanted to do this as a dip and offer these, you know, kind of have a little fondue bar,
Yeah.
you could have your caramel in a bowl and your apples, you know, you already have your apple, your mini caramel apples there, and then just offer different toppings and put some candy canes, maybe put some peanuts, things like that.
Kids would love this.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
they always.
And all
like
you gotta
stuff
do,
like
the
this.
caramel will dip right
Yes.
in and no
yeah.
mess.
Oh, looks great.
Yeah,
And I can do this with any type of apple. I
you
do
can.
it.
If you like Granny Smith apples instead, do that.
Okay.
Yep.
All kinds of variations. then.
That's right. That's right. And very easy. And like you said, it's really good for kids.
Yes.
And that's a perfect little bite to put on a plate at a party.
It is.
Yeah. We're moving on?
Moving on.
All right. We're going to scoot this way.
Okay.
This is going to be just the crock pot candy, what people typically think of when they think of crock pot candy. It is the easiest thing that you can do, I think. So you need almond bark,
Okay.
which is not necessarily the same as some of the candy coatings that are at the store. So make sure it's a bark coating.
Okay. Now, can you tell us a little bit of what the difference is?
Bark is made from a higher oil content, and so that's why it will melt
It'll
so well.
melt quicker.
Now the thing with doing this, there's a lot of crock pot recipes that they call for high or low, and say it's low on 8 hours and you don't have 8 hours, so you want to cut it down. You can cut a lot of recipes down. Chocolate is not one of them. If you cook it at too high of a temperature, it will it will caramelize, and then it's useless. It'll just get harder, and it'll look like it has sweat drops on it, and then it's useless.
I think I've been there.
So, yeah, I think most people have. So you want to make sure that your crock pot is on low, because that's about 200 degrees when it cooks,
right.
and that's the temperature that chocolate needs to be at typically. So you put the whole package in, 24 ounces of that. Then you are going to do Baker's German Sweet Chocolate baking bar. And again, all you have to do, unwrap and throw it in. You don't have to break it up. You don't have to do anything.
Wow.
Then you're going to do 2 pounds of peanuts. A lot of people like lightly salted, and so I did 1 thing of salted and 1 thing of unsalted.
Okay.
Because I'm not a big salt person, and so, now look, I'm not going to be able to get this open.
I won't call any names here, but a certain cameraman loves salt.
It's all right. A certain girl here, her dad loves salt, so I understand.
Yes.
But then you just dump those in right on top of that. That was the
Now, when
salt.
you said easy, you meant easy.
I meant
didn't
easy, yes.
Oh,
I did.
wow.
And so the thing with this, once this is done, it's going to cook for about 3 hours, which really is not that long of a time in the crock pot. You can leave it for longer. If you're gone somewhere and you accidentally leave it for 5 hours, it's not going to hurt it. Being on that low, that's what a crock pot is designed for, so it's not going to hurt it. So you do that, and then you dump a bag of chocolate chips right on top.
Oh, my gosh.
It is easy as pie. And then we are going to put our top on.
Well, gosh, all those chocolate lovers out there in heaven today with this recipe.
Right.
This is
That's
wonderful.
right, I just did that. And then we're going to turn it on low, like I said. Make sure you don't do it on high. And then once this is melted, all you do is you take a spoon and you spoon it into a cupcake liner, and you set it out. It'll harden like a little cluster, and you're good to go.
Wow. And you know, this is another recipe that our children would love to make, and it's so easy because all they have to do is pour it in.
Right. There's no knives involved. There's nothing. All they do is pour it, throw your trash away, and you're good to go.
Okay, and you've got your multicolored cups there.
That's right.
So
you get decorative ones if you wanted. That's right,
yes,
Christmas
and,
ones.
they can go about making those, make their own, or make some to give away to neighbors for gifts at Christmas time.
That's right.
So this is really great.
And this is something that you could add, if you really liked peppermint in your chocolate. You could add some peppermint extract or something like that. You could play with this one a little bit.
So I could even crack up some peppermint sticks.
You could.
And put those in there with that chocolate.
You could. If you were doing them for Halloween, you could put orange food coloring in and diet colors if you wanted. So.
Oh, this looks wonderful. And I look forward to having some of those.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
You can.
Wow.
So.
Well, listen, thank you so much for showing us how to make crock pot candy
You're welcome.
today. I'm sure our viewers will be able to use your instructions and add a lot of their likes to it and make it their very own.
That's right. Play with it a little bit.
Yes, indeed. Well, Merry Christmas, Dana.
You too.
Okay.
You too.
And this has been Yvonne McNary with Channel 6 Television, Central Kentucky Television.